Welcome back to the channel, lads and ladies, and welcome to 65 gigabytes of replay videos that have been sitting on my hard drive for most of the event. Of course, the vehicle of note today is the Object 279, 295, about 350. Welcome back to the channel, bacongaming, friend of the channel, and apparently such a heavy YouTuber that all 4 tracks of the Doom Wagon go down into the abyss. Ladies and gentlemen, the War Thunder replay system running on a 5% packet loss replay, no doubt. During the entire course of the event, I was looking at between 1 and infinity % packet loss, and generally it just meant that about every 4 seconds you get a little stutter of about 4 or 5 frames. Which wasn't annoying at all, thanks for asking. But it was completely understandable, and there's really nothing that anybody could do to prevent that. It's just a result of the fact that an unprecedented number of people were actively playing War Thunder, and that's a good sign in dark times. How appropriate then that object is painted black. I saw a Russian prototype tank I painted black. Here comes my 3-year-old running in like a mad machine. She's living up to Papa's precious dreams. She made a pizza today with some pink Play-Doh, and she was just all about rolling out the pizza dough with her roller, and now she's very excited. She hears me talking to you all, and she wants to get in on that. She's a rock and roller at heart, and it shows. I've been listening to some System of a Down on YouTube. I feel like that's completely in keeping with their desire for you to steal their albums. And where was I going with this? I guess that's just to say that System of a Down is still a fantastic band, and even though I'm a youth pastor, it's a little bit disturbing how much I find their music in my heart. Mouse having a rough day of it, getting punked on hard by this Soviet beastie boy. With I saw someone complaining on the War Thunder Reddit. The Salt Lords on the War Thunder Reddit are just so. I mean, the term autistic means, I think basically that you are self-centered, auto, being self-istic, ego-centric, and that's not meant to be an insult. It's a diagnosis. But some of the people on the War Thunder Reddit are just incredibly focused on their own experience, and that's basic human nature. That's where everybody starts out. That's why babies cry for milk even when mommy's having a rough day. If it's tough titty, that's not really something that they comprehend. They only know that if you cry loud, you get what you want eventually. And the crying that I was watching was yet another post about Mouse. Not this time about how it's overpowered, although those come up, and that's pretty hilarious. And not really about the fact that it's underpowered, which is a pretty reasonable position to make, at least in terms of the meta. I think it's something of a strange monster, like the object itself. APHE fuse, not triggering in time, but machine gun enough to take down that German object. And what was this Mouse player complaining about? That the object is overpowered because it can one-shot the mouse. Alright, look here, Sonny Jim. I'll have you know that APHE has been the god round of this game from day one, and it will continue to be. There is literally no way to realistically balance this one Russian heavy tank to where its APHE will not have the potential to one-shot the mouse from the front or the side or the rear. The only solution is to either not play the mouse, which is not the meta vehicle for a 7-7 German lineup, that would be Das Leopard, and the Leopard has no more issues with the object than any other meta medium tank at that tier. And then you would play the mouse when you're not in an up tier. That's typical heavy tank solutions right there. You just don't always want to start a match in your heavy tank unless you're willing to admit that you're not the meta vehicle and play accordingly. But this sort of, as Bacon continues to devastate the enemy with some very meta heavy tank gameplay. He's actually playing the object sort of the way you would play a medium tank, but because he has a stabilizer, which is a fantastic tool in the bag of this Soviet heavy, he's able to do things like firing on the move, and still, he's not letting his better than average mobility, his better than average armor, or his gun stabilizer tempt him into taking overly aggressive positions. This is sort of the way that I've been playing War Thunder for most ranks of tanks, and that is to push up with my allies. Guppy, I'm very impressed. You are a rock star. And she's so excited about her pink Play-Doh. We went out and we picked out a fresh little container of Play-Doh today, and I have this stash, and she's like, "Daddy, there's so much Play-Doh," and I'm like, "Yeah, one a day." But anyway, Bacon is playing to the meta, and his style playing where you push up with your teammates, you don't overextend, you take cover behind buildings and wait for the match to progress, and then you find people who are already focused on someone else and you take them down. It's a fairly consistent way to play the game. Guppy, that's enough. Now, I broke my pencil 10. There's a name for you. And this person, apologies if I use some pronouns that might be considered inappropriate, but this would be the person formerly known as Lops on Discord. I think she has a different name right now, and that happens a lot. Name changes on Discord. But what Lops is going through in her personal life is something of a more significant change, and I might be a little bit awkward about that. But that, for one, doesn't detract at all from the fact that Lops is a delightful person. If going through some issues that she has been bold enough to share with us. Toshio Thunder Discord, a place for friends, even if you're a super awkward youth pastor. RU251, Sonic, Go Fast, Skin. This match already with 2 quick kills. I cut to the beginning of the action, but the action did begin fairly quickly in this one. Playing the meta as a light tank, not all that different from the way that Bacon was playing the object, with the exception being your... Oh my goodness, I have just had... Oh, this is really soft Play-Doh. This is so nice and malleable. I'm gonna get you! I just had 2 lumps of pink Play-Doh thrown at me by that little girl, and one of them hit my headphones, but that's totally fine. These are junky headphones anyway. I actually repaired them with some electrician's tape and a spoon that I bent into shape to repair one of the brackets, the cheap plastic bracket that broke. And I actually got a comment on that video that said it was effective and useful. So, nice to make a difference in someone's life. Lops, or I broke my pencil 10, making a difference in this match. What's the 10 for, I wonder? I don't know. Born in 2010? No. No, Lops is older than that. I mean, everybody's a baby in this game. But not that much of a baby in this case. Where was I? Making a difference! One Heat FS at a time. The RU-251, a light tank with lots of potential, even if it lacks in survivability. You're not meant to tank hits in that tank. And another thing that I'm very familiar with, getting familiar with the engine sounds bug for for replay mode. Blue bombs away. Was that an AA? Oh my gosh, it got splatted. It was indeed one of those odd USSR gun trucks, cannon truck no less, getting a quick kill, and the second bomb, I think Satan number 2, not managing to find its mark, wide though the blast radius may be. The interesting and somewhat subversive characteristics of bombs, well, that's one way to play. Tail slap on the ground, though, is going to mean that even with its fantastic flight characteristics, look at how stable this thing is without a tail. Shenanigans! Shenanigans, I tell you! She'll trim out. But, Tank RB actually kicks you out of the vehicle when it's so-called destroyed. Lack of a tail is no big deal to a JU-288, though. In any event, ME-262A1U4 Narwhal, my bay. If I didn't tell you, you would just think this was another one of my replays. Especially with that whole slapping my tail on the ground thing. It happens. But 8 quick kills, a couple of deaths, a beautiful 6-7 German lineup that looks just like my own. And I broke my pencil. Well, that's kind of meta, isn't it? I broke my... In case you guys hadn't gathered, Lops is attempting to transition. So that is, that's a thing that some people decide to do. Doesn't make any sense to me, but you know what, person? I'm behind you as far as I can be. ME-262A1U4 Narwhal just destroys another enemy ground vehicle, this time an STRV-103, bringing it up to 9 kills and more beautiful gameplay from, this time, the Narwhal. The 6.7 7.0 German lineup is fantastic. It's one of the few competitors to the absolutely superb 6.7 7.0 USA lineup that continues to evolve as BRs get shuffled around and remain. Oh my goodness, what a long range kill! That was very impressive. 9 kills. It's the competitor for American 6.7, which remains probably the most diverse and powerful 6.7 lineup in the game. USSR falling short in that regard, but standing strong around 7.3, can find it difficult to avoid the American 7.7 powerhouse while engaging the American 6.7 powerhouse. So you see a lot of competition with Germany, a lot of up tiers into 7.7, where your jets with fantastic multi-role capability, i.e. the Narwhal, as well as a number of other vehicles available to the Germans that can help turn the tide or balance the tables. Oh! Yeah, that'll buff out. 35 seconds repair on the runway as soon as we drag the carcass of that jet back to base. No doubt, in the last seconds of the match, you can see it here. Das Doppelflakpanzer. I don't even know what to call this thing anymore, but I knew it as Coelian. Maybe it has a different identity now, but it's the same old friend that I know and love. Manages to pick up an air kill in the last moment. Nicely done, Lopsy. Now, yxilon? Ix is fish, I think, in Greek. So, yxilon. Fish creature. So Fishhead over here is playing Air Arcade. Mit the Americans. What the Americans have at low-tier Air Arcade is what they continue to have for most of your Air Arcade experience. Thick, beefy lineups that support each other well. Boom and zoomers that were never meant to exist in arcade. But the final balancing factor, fantastic forward-facing firepower. Waiting for the hit marker to show up. This is someone who plays probably more arcade than Air RB, just judging from that. Not that I'm judging. Everybody plays the game the way they want, and I have nothing but respect for arcade players. It's definitely not an easy win button, the way you might assume if you're not familiar with the game mode, especially flying American fighters, turn fighters being the meta at this tier, have many advantages over you. But Fishhead here showing that he knows how to counter an enemy turn fighter, get some separation, get some shots on, and make that time on target count. One of the defining features of Air Arcade, other than its fast-paced action, is the unlimited number of respawns you have, as long as you have a chonky enough lineup to back up your gameplay style. What's that mean? Every crew slot that you have is capable of participating in an Air AB match, and if you have backups, you can use those too. So you could have, I don't know, 15 spawns or more if that's what you felt like doing. You play the match until you're out of available vehicles or the match is done. An interesting and antiquated concept in War Thunder. Definitely something that's played with. The tank RB method is definitely something that's a bit more familiar. The Air RB method of respawning, definitely not forgiving enough for arcade battles. And the arcade method, well, compelling, but definitely open to exploitation. If you have, 7, 8 crew slots filled with aircraft that have backups, you are capable of paying for a lot more power than a new or a less affluent or dedicated in terms of committed resources player can have on the match. And that's something of an issue. But with just one change, that being, give people an unlimited number of respawns in whichever aircraft they desire, similar to the way that Enduring Confrontation works. That could be an interesting change. What's nothing new is for a Mustang variant, A21. Is it A21? A something. I could be wrong on the designation for this ground attacker version of the Mustang. It's an early model, judging from the fact that it has heavy machine guns in the nose and the wings. American policymakers didn't know which they wanted to go for, engine-mounted or wing-mounted, so they went for both for a while, and then committed to wing-mounted guns. A decision that I've sort of started to appreciate. The spread of fire and the concentration of firepower at your convergence is something of a useful tool in the hands of an experienced pilot, but lacking maneuverability on account of his engine got taken out fairly early on, Yxilon is going to need to respawn, this time in the still magical P40 that has Tiny German's custom camouflage attached to it. Very fine custom camouflage that fits my semi-weeb-tastic tendencies, and a beautiful aircraft in any regard. The P40, about as much of a mix between a turn fighter and a boom and zoomer that you'll find at this tier in the American tree, and a fan favorite all around. Air Arcade living up to its reputation for fast-paced action, as Yxilon spawns in seconds away from a dogfight and in the midst of enemy fighters from the get-go. Air Arcade is madness, Air Arcade is beautiful insanity, and this map is absolutely gorgeous. I would love to see more, less realistic maps and terrains in War Thunder. The terrain is already unrealistic, with Gaijin using the same 4 rock outcroppings to balance every aspect of their maps, creating tank traps out of the terrain we're supposed to fight on, because they just don't want people using that lane. But look at this beautiful map. Look at the verticality, these rock stacks that you can dogfight people in. And if you want to scream through these death valleys in a jet, oh man, how about you just go for it? Speaking of Death Valley, a large gorge would be a gorgeous thing to fight in. Maybe like the Grand Canyon or something. There's some awesome formations in Utah that would be great inspiration for more than just the Roadrunner cartoons. In any event, what I mean to say is I love the looks of, what is this, Hangman's Cliffs or something like that. I love the looks of levels like this, and I definitely wouldn't mind seeing them in Air RB. I feel like the lineups have gone far from historical accuracy in what you face off against, and that's been for the better in terms of which aircraft can face which as Yxilon spawns again and again, demonstrating that if you lack tactical positioning, the way... I mean, look at this. He just spawned in, and there's people all over his air spawn. Where are your chicken nuggies, Guppy? You gotta go find them.
Dad, you eat them.
You found the mystery! I did indeed eat all of your chicken nuggies. How are you gonna act?
You eat all my chicken nuggies.
I ate all the chicken nuggies because they're actually my chicken nuggies. Do you want a nuggie?
You eat my chicken nuggies.
Oh my goodness! Don't hit my face! Hi, baby.
What happened to your beard?
Yeah, what happened to my beard is I cut it off because I was trimming it and I messed up. So now I look like a cue ball. Say cue ball.
Cute ball. Look,
Yeah, cue ball. I discovered that I'm starting to grow.
Yeah, look, you cute beard.
Yeah, I just started to grow a second chin. It's not really like fatty, it's just kind of like looser skin than I remember it being.
What happened to your beard?
So yeah, my beard is gone right now. My beard got cut off by me. One of the advantages of quarantine, I suppose, is that nobody has to see how stupid my face looks right now, other than my wife, who has loved me in spite of my stupid face for all these years. And you know what? I love me in spite of my stupid face too.
And now it's my drink.
Yeah, you want a drink?
No, it's all gone.
Yeah, it's all gone.
Okay.
As you can see, things are winding down on this replay.
I'm gonna climb
You are actually climbing me right now.
Hey.
Yes, yeah, I cut my hair. Yxilon going through one after another of his aircraft and even dipping into the... what's it called when you're backups? Yes, backups. Sorry, I'm a little bit distracted. I have a 3-year-old balancing on my chest and asking me continuously why I cut my hair. You know what?
Dad, cut your hair.
My hair was very long and I'm a boy, so I cut my hair so that I would look like a daddy.
Cut this way.
Yeah, boys cut hair and girls grow beautiful long hair. Now, of course, ladies, you can cut your hair, but I'm trying to encourage my daughters to grow their hair because they have absolutely gorgeous hair. And I'm a huge fan of long hair on a lady. It's so feminine, so gorgeous. Anyway, I did get a bit distracted there at the end, but I hope you guys enjoyed these replays. More coming on the way. Very happy to feature replays again on the channel. As always, there's a link to the Discord. Invite you to join up there. Yeah, you have foyer? What's foyer?
It's fine. When I'm talking about me, I look in the camera, and now it says it's after and know what happened.
Oh my goodness, I caught Spider-Man, and then I caught What Happened. That was a long story, Guppy. You have the heart of a narrator. I love you. Okay, catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.